Hello. Yeah. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So till now we have I think 28 attendees. Okay. So till now we have learned how to design the database and how to normalize it. And so in the practical now we have to how this database use in the application part and store the data in that data. So we use this thing using Python. So how we can develop applications and how to use access this data from the Python, right? So now we will see. So I think everyone have installed PG admins and any Python editor is available to you.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Just yeah. Hello. Yeah, my screen is visible to everyone, right?
Yes.
Okay. So everyone know how to create database in the PG admin, right? So please open your PG admins and create a database, right? So like, so let me show you how to create the database. Create and the database. Suppose the database name is week7, right? So we have created, and please check the properties like what is the username. Oh, okay, here property. Here you can see this is the host name, local host, and the port is 5432, and username is a Postgres, and password you have know that, right? You know that what is your password of the PG admin, right? So it is required in the how to when we are trying to connect with the Python, this database, then it is used. Okay, so up to this is clear to everyone. I have created one database. The database name is week7, right? Okay, so you can follow it, right? This is a kind of the code with instructor session, like, so you can, if you have any problem, then you can ask. So we can code with parallelly. Yeah, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
When I switch through the windows, are you able to see my window, whole window, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me open here. Let me create a database for folder, right? So this is suppose week7. Okay, and please open your first opens the command prompt, right? So command prompt, you have to install that PsychoPG modules, because that is the API which is used for connect the database with the Python and
Postgres.
the data. Yeah, Python and Postgres. So command is simple: pip install and PsychoPG 2, right? So it is already installed in my system. So that's why it's shown like this. Otherwise, it will take some time. So everyone, please install it. Okay. So let me open my Python editor. Then opens the Python editor if anyone. I personally prefers the
VS Code. Yeah.
yeah. So open the folder I just have created. So what is PsychoPG? PsychoPG is a modules that is act as a API or the interface between the Postgre and the Python. So here we use it. Or suppose first we want to check whether how to using the PsychoPG we can connect to the database. So how we will connect that will I explain step by step, right? Okay, so suppose just simply connect.py I want to create. So then I want to import that PsychoPG modules in the this Python file, right? So code is simple. PsychoPG2. Okay, right. And I want to create a variables name like non, and everyone know about the try and catch block. So first,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So in this module, I just want to create an this variable con and assign with non, and suppose I want to connect. So in this module, one method is there, that is the connect, right? So PsychoPG2 connect, and this takes the several parameter, right? So first parameter is like database. So what is the database name we have just created, right? So database name is week 7, right? And then it takes user. So what is the username? By default is Postgres, right?
Yeah, password Postgre.
And the password in my system password is root, right?
Okay, then
Yeah.
host and port.
Then host, and host is localhost here, and port is by default port is the 5432, right?
542. Yeah, sir. With this newer Psycho CPG, like
Yeah.
this database is not working because that is deprecated, and then DB name. They're writing DB name.
Where it DB name you mean?
It like you wrote that first argument is database, right?
Yeah.
Because I tried that, and because I installed that Psycho CPG and it was giving error. So then I went through the documentation. They are saying DB name is the new one. Database is deprecated.
DB name you unable to install it, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So
No,
it
no. The
is
first
already
first
yeah, please
argument,
please
first
try to
argument you have given, right? Database equal to week 7, right?
yeah.
So that database, that is a keyword, right? Keyword like
Yeah,
that is the argument.
yeah.
So it was not taking the database, it was taking DB name, because they are saying that database, that particular thing has been deprecated.
Deprecated you mean unable to.
Yeah.
So is it installing problems or this is the problem of this particular statement?
A particular statement actually. Like, okay, you run, see, like if your Psycho CPG is, Psycho CPG is new, right?
Yeah.
Then it will give an error.
No, I did not find any error in this. So let me show you how insta try and catch block. So this thing, I try to create an object of this particular method, PsychoPG connect. So it will, if it successfully establishes the connection with the database, then it will return an object, right? So that is assigned to con. So if otherwise, I want to returns the what is the error, right? So it's kind of error handling. So first see if you able to debug it, then okay, otherwise let us. And finally is, about the what is the finally. If this particular throw an error, this will handle by except, otherwise it will either of the final
Yeah,
statement is a run anyway.
correct.
Yeah. If con dot is not, then we have to close the connection. Everyone have go through the slide, went through the slide, right? The 7 point, or shall I explain
Yes,
it
yes.
before coding? Everyone is here. Everyone know about what I am doing, right? Or shall I explain it before?
Sir, I have not gone through.
Yeah. Hello.
Sir, can you please explain it, sir? I haven't gone through
Okay.
the.
Okay. Let me. Okay. Let me explain. Go for. Okay. Okay. So what we have doing, we using the psycho-PG modules. So using the psycho-PG modules, we working with the Postgre, using the Python, right? So it is the popular modules. It is the Python module. It is used in the most of the Python database framework, right? So it is the huge community support also. So you can see the what are the advantage of. It is the most popular and the stable module to work with the PostgreSQL, and used by the most of the Python and the Postgre framework. And it is also actively maintained by the Python 2.x and the Python 3. Right? And you can also using this psycho-PG modules, you can also develop the not so large scale, but you can develop your application, right, at the basic level. So, and this is the process. You can fire this command in your command prompt. We have just I showed you that how to install. Open your command prompt and type this command: pip install psycho-PG2, right? And if you want any specific version of the psycho-PG2 modules, then just equal sign and mention the version, right? Up to this is clear, right? And this is the process of access the PostgreSQLs from the Python. So what we are doing, that the first you have to create a connection object, right? Anyone have any doubt?
In installing process, what we have to install, sir?
This psycho-PG module, this module. So please open your command prompt, then
Sir,
yeah.
sir, I'm using Ubuntu, and when I tried to install this, I got error. So I looked up into the internet, and I found that there is something called Psycho PG2 hyphen binary for installation. So is that fine, sir, or I'm doing anything wrong?
Yeah, I think it is fine. So it is also working in the Linux, right? Here it is written. So you can try it. I don't think it's much different than this.
Okay.
Yeah. And everyone here is, you have installed, right, this psycho-PG module?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, sir.
You are unable to install it, or so please opens the command prompt, right? Command prompt and pip install psycho-PG2. That's it.
Here is the command from prompt.
Command prompt.
Yes,
Or
sir.
you have installed your that VS Code. Is it VS Code is?
No, sir.
What are you using for the Python editor ID?
Python is sir, Jupyter and Spider.
You are using Jupyter. Can you open your Jupyter? Right. So please open your Jupyter node. and then type this pip install, right? This one.
Yes.
Yes. Then try.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Up to this is clear. Right?
Yes, sir.
Then what are the steps? Okay. First, it will create the connection with, so that command is the psychopg2.connect, and we mentions the parameters in this. Then once the connection established, then we create the cursor of it. So cursor will work through the programs, throughout the programs, right? So it will help us to execute our query, right? And so the next step is, second step is create the cursor, then execute the query, will execute your SQL query using the Python. You want to uh, fire some that SQL query, right, from the Python. So that will execute by this third process. So we will see how it is. Okay. And the third, any changes you have done from the last commit. So if you want to commit, or that will you want to reflect that things in the database, then using the commit, or you can use the rollback also, right? And the third is, whatever you created the connection, that should closed. So close the cursor and the close the connection also you have created. So these are the 6 steps. So first step is to create the connection. If connection is a successfully established, then creates the cursor of it. Then using the cursor, execute your SQL query you want to execute in the database. And the third is, if you want to reflect the changes in the database, then commit it, otherwise roll back it. And close the cursor, and then close the connection. These are the 6 steps, right? So is it clear to everyone how it is? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And these are the how to create the connection object, right? So okay, so this is the module, and this is the method. So psychopg dot connect methods, and it takes the parameter like the database. Here you have to mention the database name you want to work with, uh, the database name, and the user, and the mentions the user in the pg admin, what is the username of in your pg admin, and provides here the password and the host name. This is the generally the local host by default, and the port names, the postgres port is 5432, right? So this will if it will successfully connect with your database, then it will returns the connection object, right? So at the end of this, in this way, connection dot close, this will close your whatever you create the connection, it close it. And for working with the database, you have to create the cursor, right? So this is the methods. So suppose this is your, you creates this con. Okay, is it visible? So whatever's the it's written any object. So suppose it's returns any object that is con be stored in the con. So by that's the con dot cursor. In this method we created a cursor, right? And so using this we will use it throughout the program, right? So that cursor is for the execute, or so we will see how we can execute using this cursor, and this is the methods to close that cursor, right? So okay, and this is the methods to how to execute the the SQL query, right? So this is the cursor dot execute methods, and you have to provide the SQL query, right? Whatever's like the SQL query select star from, right? Employee, right? And here also you can pass, this is the SQL, right? And with the SQL you can also the pass the parameter also. So how it is, we will see in the practice when we code. So I will just show you here. So this is the SQL query, right? And here you have to pass the tuple, right? So tuple in this tuple, suppose you want to insert something. So insert into, and something you want to insert, suppose ID and name, right? So your query like this query like cursor dot insert into, what is the your table name, suppose this employee, right? Employee, this is, and the column name is suppose EID and E name and values, and this is the placeholder, right? Here you can see this is the placeholder, okay? And here pass the, this is not semicolons, this is close, this one single quote, and that's after that comma, right? And pass the tuple of values. So here EID, ID, you can see the value is ID and name, right? So this will accept the tuple only, right? So if you have the only one attribute or one value, so you cannot write like this, right? You have to pass the tuples. So how it is the tuple, if you have to mention the one comma, so that is the, so now it is a tuple, right? I will show you in the uh, up to this is clear to everyone, right? But
Yeah, sir, one question, like within a connection,
yeah,
can you open a cursor and close that cursor multiple times?
uh, yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
But cursor is just a pointer, sir. Is it some connection? I mean, some pipeline, or which we can, is connection is some pipeline that
No. Once you connect with the database, that is the connection object, right? So
yes, sir.
after that, you can create the multiple cursor also. That is you have asked, right, Rajiv?
So if I'm
Yes.
selecting from multiple tables, then I could technically have, I mean, meaning separately from multiple tables, I could have multiple cursors. Is what it's
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the method you have defined any procedure in the tables. So this is the using this method you can call that parameter, that procedure. So this is the method. And this cursor dot row count will returns the numbers of rows you have modified just now, means whatever's execute or the delete you have deleted. So it will return, suppose you have insert one row, right? So cursor dot row count will returns how many, so tell me how many you have modified in how many rows. So that is one, right? So it will returns the numbers of tuples you have modified it, right? So if you have deleted, suppose ID equal to 2, and its existence in the table is suppose the five instances. So instances got deleted, right? So cursor dot row count will return 5. So 5 row affected, right? So cursor dot row count is clear. And so this is how we will see how we fetch. So you have learned that cursor dot execute this method using, here is the your SQL query. Using this method, you execute your SQL query using this cursor, right? So now how to retrieve the data or read the data from this cursor, right? So this is the method. So cursor dot fetch one will returns a sequence of data, means return only one tuple, right? So for the next tuple, if you have suppose, okay, 1 2 3 4 1 2 4, so this value executed, and after that cursor store, you can think about like that's the cursor store this value. Now you want to read this value, right? So if you read this, run the cursor dot fetch one first time, then it will return this value. Again, if you run this command, then it will fetch the next row. So this line means that, so this method fetches the next row of the query result set, right? And returns only the sequence and none once the no more data is available, right? So if you run this 4 times, so cursor dot fetch one, right? So it will 3 times it will returns this value. After 4 times it will return none, right? And cursor dot fetch many, it takes one, you can mention if how many row you want, right? So here you can mention the size also. So I think by default it is size is 1. I think we will check that also. By default the size is 1. Okay, so if you run this cursor dot fetch many, so it will return some 1 tuples, first tuples, and cursor dot fetch all will returns all the remaining rows in your query result, and it will return in a list of values. Okay, so I hope it is clear to everyone what this 3 fetch will. So this will basically, these are the methods to read the data from the result set, right? Okay, and this is the method of the connection. Here you have to remember that it is the not the method, the commit is the not a method of cursor, right? So it is a method of the connection object, right? So if you whatever you have changed and you want to reflect that things in the database, so you have to run this particular command, right? Connection dot commit and connection dot rollback, if you want to revert the changes. Okay, right? And now we will see this in the command in the Visual Code Studio, right? Up to this theory is clear to everyone what we are going to do in the next.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here you can see it will it created a function and call the function, right? So I have to write this thing inside a function. So I think all of you know how to code in the Python coding. You know about Python coding, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I create connection, right? I just write the create con, and here let me take the similar as that database that ends the PDF, right? So first I will take the DB name, then user, then password, and host, port, right? And I have to write this thing inside the command, inside that function. So just DB name, so yeah, let me explain again the code. So first I import the psychopg modules, then define a function, so which will have the following parameters: DB names, user, password, host, and the port. Inside the function, I have created a connection object and assigns the none, right? So first ins the try and catch this try exception block. I first try to create the connection with the database by this psychopg.connect modules, right? So passing the parameter arguments, the password, user is user, okay. User equal to user and the password equal to pwd and the host equal to host. Okay, so if this got created, right, so then I will print connection established success. All of you, are you able to follow me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if connection got created means connection is not none, then I will close the connection, right? So if I'm not writing this code, then I will show you how it will throw an error. So now just close this, and here we defined the function, and this function create connection, create con, and the what is our database name, fix7, right? And user is Postgres, password is root, and host is localhost. Okay, so let me save. Here opens the terminal. Yeah, just write Python and what is your connect file names, that is connect.py. So run it. Here you can see connection established. Is it visible, right?
Yes.
Here you can see connection established successful, right? So if I mistakenly write some password like this, so what will happen? So let's see, it will throw an error, right? So here you can see it will not get created, means connection object not returns any connection object right to con. So if I write this statement, like this and try to close it. So what will happen? So here you can see the connection non-type object has no attribute as the close. So close is the method of the connection object only. So that's why if connection is up to this is clear to everyone, right? How to create the connection.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. So I just copied this. Okay.
So that means like even before doing anything with that connection object, we are closing it actually. So this is just for testing, right?
Yeah, just for testing.
Yeah.
So now we will see how to create the data tables using this Python code. So, yeah.
Correct. Otherwise, this finally block code will go to some other code, like wherever you will be calling this function.
Yeah.
Okay.
So up to this is clear to everyone, right?
Yes, yes.
Hello. Yeah. Just want to create a table. Create tables.py, right? So using these methods, I want to create a tables. So same code, I just don't want to write. Okay, let me write. Okay, so first import psychopg2, right? Then define a function that is a create. This will create a tables, right? This function. Okay, so same, create a connection object using the con name variables and try to create the connection, right? So and assign to con variable, right? And psychoprism.connect and same provides the database name that is week 7. Okay, and user is Postgre. How many of you have tried just the previous one?
Yeah, I
And
have
got,
tried actually.
yeah, and say a successful established also, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
for
yes.
me that database keyword
Yeah.
doesn't work, so I need to write DB name.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I installed today only, so probably with that version it doesn't work because I have checked the documentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone is trying, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it is important for everyone, right? You can expect one question or two question, I think it's the OP.
Just a quick question. This PsychoPG2 is not ODBC, is it? Is it more embedded? Which category will it come at? The connectionist and embedding, he said 2 types, right?
It's a ODBC, right?
Yeah, open database connectivity.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
connection is type.
ODBC only.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Okay. Then create a cursor, right? The next is, so I just write the car and con dot cursor. I have created cursor, and using this cursor, I want to execute SQL query, right? So for the long SQL query, I am using the tree. So create tables. So suppose I want to create the employee tables, right? So create tables employee with the column name first. Suppose EID, right? EID is in types, and it will be primary key. Okay, and the next is ename where of size 50, and the next is department. Okay, so if this correctly or successfully created database, then I will display message table successfully created, right? And then accept send. So this is for the exception handling, right? And psychopg dot database error, as you all are aware about these things.
Yes.
Okay, and the final step. Con is not known, then con dot close, right? And here I forgot to close the cursor also, so I have to close that. And also whatever the changes I have done, right, that should be reflected in the database, right? So that's why I have to also commit it also. So commit is a method of that connection object, and so that after that close the cursor also. So here you can see the sixth step is also there. Connection object created, then the connection, create the cursor, then execute, then commit, then close the cursor and close the connection also. So let me save it.
Sir, for a DDL, like creating a table, it will get committed anywhere, right? Even if you don't commit.
So I think it is completely person to person. Someone may be opt the auto commit, maybe someone. So it is a safer. So
Okay. No, my understanding was for DDLs, like the create table, alter table. I thought it happened irrespective of, you can't roll back the transaction.
No, you can roll back.
Okay, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
so up to this is clear to everyone, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so I want to run this Python command, a Python file. So this is create table viewer. So I have to check it whether it got created or not. So let me check. So this command is cursor create dot creatable employee EID int primary key cursor. I think it got I
Excuse
think
me, sir.
this
May I add something?
yeah.
Actually, we're not calling the creatable function, right? The function that we have defined. So we need to call that actually. Because all
Oh,
of this.
yeah. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
created a function.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so open the terminal and Python create table.py. Okay, here you can see table successfully got created. Okay, so let me check in the PG. So here you can check. So let's start from a refresh it and here you can see employee tables with this 3 column EID, enames and department, right?
Yes.
So same thing, you can copy this code also, or now we want to insert something in the. So how to create, you just see this thing, how we can create the tables. So now we want to insert the value. So I just rename it like this, insert table.py, and I copy the same code because it's going to be the same code, right? Anyway, I have to just change here only. So you can copy this thing. Yeah. And you can change here only. So I will pass here the the ID, name, and the department, right? And I want to insert that thing in this table, right? So what is the command? Can anyone tell me? Insert command.
Insert into the
Okay.
employee.
Insert into employee.
Then in bracket values.
Yeah, we can also mention here also.
Yeah, percentage.
No, after you are talking about these things, the column name or here values, right?
Yeah, that one will be percentage. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, those who don't know, so this is the placeholder, and
Yeah,
here
and
we can
tuple.
pass a tuple, right? So
Yes,
tuple
yes.
is this value. So here you can see ID, name, and date, right? So if this thing, so I just tried data and circuit, right? So, and here I can pass. So just change the table. Insert table. Insert table, right? And here I want to pass suppose Ishan, and the department is suppose the physics. Okay. So I think everything is,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So let me run this thing. So Python insert table dot. So you can see the data inserted. So let me check in the database also. So here you can select a star from the employee, right? So here you can see 101 is an answer physics department. So everyone got the idea how you can insert this in the database.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Just a second, can you show me the insert? Yeah, there is an S. Okay, so it be percentage S, is it?
Yeah. This is the placeholder. So you can, if you face any problems in this, so you can also write like this also. So you know about the format in,
Or directly putting the values there, is it?
yeah, format, you know the format commands in the Python, right?
Yes, sir.
Dot format method. So you can do also, but here it is not working. So you have to create a string. So I have tried to create the here one string, but you have the clear idea, got the idea about here, right? How to insert the value. So I will show one example also. So let me show you how format will work. So here you can see dot format and the SQL. So I want to insert one more data, that is 102. And suppose this is Jairaj and the department is CSC, right?
Sir, it became 10,2.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
okay. So Jairaj. Column Jairaj does not exist. So insert into employee values 1 to 1 Jairaj. How it will takes the Jairaj as the column. So here I can mention also. So let EID, name, and it is department or it is department. Okay. Okay. So let me try again. Column Jairaj does not exist.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I believe that we need to, put the values in quotes, right? Because 102, Jairaj and CSC, all those things are strings. So I think
No.
should be in quotes.
Yeah. I got it. Your
So in
point.
the format, we need a code
Yeah.
code also, yeah, like that. But I think then
Yeah. That will work. Yeah. Everyone got it, right? What is the problem? So you have to mention inside the code because this is a string, right? Okay.
so the outermost code you can kind of make it a double code, right? So that it does not clash with that other one.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Sure. Thank you. So here you can see the data inserted. Let me check. Sorry. Here you can see zeros also. So what happened? So let me ask you, what if I want to insert only EID, right? So how to do that in the here means equal command. So I want to write here and want to insert only EID. So can anyone tell me how the code means what is the SQL query look like inside the dot execute? So I want to write here and insert only EID, right? Because that is the primary key that is required.
So then insert into employee bracket inside bracket EID, then space value
Okay, insert into
EID in the bracket,
EID
space
and
values,
values. Okay.
and inside bracket EID value.
A placeholder. Okay, and then here what will come?
EID value.
EID values. So I will pass. I will pass only one EID ID, right? Is it? Yes. Hello. Is it so? Right?
I think remaining part, do we need to say null or
No, no,
No need.
no need?
yeah, I want to pass only one column value because that is the primary key. EID is that is mandatory, right? Okay. So suppose I want to insert here. So suppose this is Pradeep and I here say Osim, right? So suppose save and I want to run this, right? So here you can see int object does not support indexing. So what is the problem? So can anyone tell me?
That is not a tuple, right? Like so, it is considering that as a int object.
Yeah, that is exactly. So I mentioned earlier that you have to pass the tuple, right? Okay. So for the tuple, you have to put one comma, right? So yeah.
Oh,
So
I
now,
thought this was a printing mistake in the slides. Now I understand.
okay. So Python insert. So data got inserted. Yeah. Okay. Here you can see 103 and the null value. So insertion is clear to everyone, right? So here tuple is mandatory also. You got, yeah, here 2 point is important. Here tuple is required. So if you want to avoid these things, so you have to write in this way. You can write in this way also. So I think insertion is clear to everyone. So now I want to show you how you can select. Here the insertion and deletion is similar, right? So select is just be different from this. So I want to show you the selectable dot. So again, I want to copy the same thing. Because everything is, I have to change only this part. Okay. So let me change the function name, select table, and here also the how the command, if I want to select the all the value, right, from the tables. So what is the command? Can anyone tell me? Selects the EID, e-names, and the value, department
star.
value.
Select
Select
stuff.
star from.
Select star, right? Select star from employee. Right. So how we can read this value? So I explained three methods, right? The cursor has three methods.
Fetch all.
Fetch one, fetch many, and the fetch all, right? So I want to fetch every value, right? So which method I should, and this will return a list of value. So I want to store that value in the list. So that's why I write. So fetch all method, and just I want to print, or you can print, display the data in this way also. For I in results print I. So it will returns the tuple one by one, right? Okay. So is it clear to everyone, right? So I want to execute this particular command, select star from employee. So it will returns all the value from the employee. And I, using this method, I read the result set value. Fetch all will return a list of value, and store, I stored that value in the results. And by this iterator, I reads the value or tuple one by one, right? Okay, up to this is clear to everyone. So
Just a quick question. So fetch one takes us to the next record, right? It just gives us the next record. And then we had fetch all, which just picks up everything. And there was one more, right? Fetch a few, is it? What is
fetch
that?
many.
Fetch many, and you give a size of the number of records.
Yeah.
But in case I do fetch one, it will keep going one after another.
Yeah.
If I want to go back to the first record in terms of index, is it possible through fetch itself, or like can I just go back to the first record and start again or something like that?
Yeah. I think the cursor will incremented one by one. So you, for that you have to create again another cursor, or
oh, okay. So there's no way for the cursor to just go back.
No, I think you can, if you want to do that things, you can do using this fetch all and store the records, and you want
to go back again. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
So okay, Python and the select table .py. So here you can see the value 101. It returns the tuple one by one. So let me show you, using the fetch all, it will return all the value. So what happens if I return the fetch one. Okay. Use the fetch one method. So one time, so this will res one. So just leave it. Only I want to print the result one and the result two, right? Okay, you can see the first two, it will returns the result one, store the first value, first tuple, and the result to store the next tuple, right? And the result three store the next tuple, right? Hello, it is clear to everyone, right?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So what will do the fetch menu? So I want to first show you the by default what it will take, then I will pass the size parameters also. Okay. So by default it is one, as I mentioned the previously. Fetch menu by default take only one size as the one, right? So if I mention here the size is size equal to 2, right? Then what will happen? So here you can see the two tuples, first one and the second one, right? So in this way, this fetch menu will work. Up to this is clear to everyone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, how the select will work, how the insert will work, how to create. If you know how insert work, you can do that for extend that things for the how delete will work, right? So
Correct.
you
It's
know,
just the SQL query.
yeah, that is the just SQL query. You have to just manipulate that thing. And if you know the insert also, you can write the code for update also, right? Okay. Yeah. Up to this is clear to everyone, right? This,
Yes.
yeah. So any doubt?
So, sir, like say for example, you have two database. Okay.
Okay.
Say for example, like if we take an example of a bank, okay, like you are crediting from one account and depositing in another account, right?
Okay.
Now there you have two connection, you can open only one connection, right?
Yeah.
So how like generally you handle that kind of situation?
Okay, I have no idea about that, but I can say there is the a bank opens the API for that also, right? So
Yes.
a individual bank
Opens their APIs. Yes.
yeah. So yeah, I think this
Because now since there are two connections, okay, like now you do not have control on one connection.
okay. So I can explain about the individual one bank.
Yeah, one bank that is okay.
Yeah,
Like
that is stored in the one database.
correct.
Yeah, Subhendu, you want to add something?
So in week 10, you will be learn how to handle concurrency control, locking protocol, two-phase locking protocol, So you will be learn how to handle concurrency control. So you'll be
Okay,
learning.
in the two-phase locking protocol.
Yeah, week 10. So
Okay, but
serializability.
okay.
So yeah,
I think he is asking about the two database, right? How two
Correct.
database will interact with each other. So anyone have idea about that? Anyone add to it? Some, yeah. So currently I have no idea about the how. I will let you know, Raj.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Anyone face any problems in the database, this particular part? And one thing is the programming assignment you had to keep in mind that how this printing is very important, right? So how it is instructed to you, so you have to write that. So if it is mentioned in the one line also, so you have to write exactly that way, whatever instruct. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyone have any doubt?
Sir, another thing is like in this code, if you see, only the changing stuff is like the SQL command, right?
Okay, yeah.
Other than that, more or less everything is boilerplate.
Yeah, everything
Correct.
is,
So,
yeah.
like basically, how do we structure this code actually? Because only part that is changing is that cursor dot execute that particular state, that particular line of code.
Yeah. So this particular methods, the psychopg modules, as I earlier mentioned, that's the psychopg module is the most of the framework is using these things. So in the 7.4, you can see the last 2-3 slide, it is given the one Flask framework is there. So Flask framework is using this particular psychopg modules to working with or interact with the database, right? So I mentioned these things because then you will see how it is work. So this is kind of prerequisite to that Flask module, Flask framework, right? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just one other question. So
okay.
what if we write the connect as a separate function, as a separate function, and the select, insert, and all of them as separate function? Will the connection still be valid when different function calls are made?
Yeah, that will also work. So you want to write this thing in another function, right?
Yeah,
Connect
yeah,
function. Yeah,
correct.
that will work.
So I could open a connection separately, close a connection separately using different functions, or no? How does that work? Because I have to create a connection, then I have to create a cursor, then
No,
execute.
the function will returns the connection object. Then how it will, how you pass this connection object?
Okay, but I could. Okay, there will be a wrapper function which will open a connection, get the connection object.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then
and
that is
then
the
use
same
that.
thing. Same thing.
Okay.
You are doing the same thing here.
Now, except that the connection management can be handled in a separate.
Easily.
Okay.
That you can do.
Just that I need the connection object on the wrapper class, in the whichever function.
Yeah. Function. You have to returns the connection object. So I think this is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it is doing the same thing. I'm just thinking if it can be more modular by having a separate.
Yeah.
This one. That's it. I understand.
Okay. Up to this is clear to everyone, right?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone, yes or no? Everyone. So I want to something show you the Flask module, how it is work. So is it clear to everyone? So I will.
Yes, it is clear.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone is coding in this VS Code, or someone is coding in the Jupyter Notebook, or any other IDE is using before go further. So those who are using the VS Code just simply writes the pip install Flask, right? So you can see. Okay, it is already installed for me. So you got it, right? Pip install Flask, right? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So here I want to create another, that is main.py, right? So from Flask. So now I want to import the Flask. So let me try is Flask is there or not. So just save it and try to run it. So that is Python main.py. It do not throw any error. That means it is working, right?
Correct.
So yeah. So in the Python Flask, there is one module, one class is there that I want to import. So that is, you can check on the slide also. So from the Flask, I want to import one Flask class is there. So I want to import that, right? So first we will see what are the basic structure, right? So after that, we want to create an instance of that Flask class. You know about the object oriented, right? So we want to create the one object that is the app, right?
Yeah, Flask underscore name
Underscore name. So it is, we pass the same function. So what we have right here, so we pass the same function to app dot this app object as an parameter, right? So that is, this means, so now we will creating the endpoint of something. So
route. App
yeah,
dot route. Yeah.
app dot route. So first just I have mentioned this is the URL, right? So if you're using this URL, so then it will invoke this function. So suppose I have write this index dot this function. So let me write here. So it will returns the hello world, right? So if we using this URL, this will invoke this function, and this function will return this. Okay. Okay, let me save. So it will execute it, but it will return nothing. So for return these things, you have to write the one.
Yeah, underscore name equal to main.
Yeah.
Underscore main.
Underscore
App dot run.
main. Yeah. So that is app dot run. So this will work, and it will take the parameter as the debug. So by default, debug is
true.
False.
False. Yeah. Sorry, by default.
By default, it is false. You have to mention. So this is by default, debug is true. No need to, you have no need to every time or refresh it, right? So it will auto. Here you can see you got the URL. So here you can see hello world. It is visible to everyone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a local host in the 50 here. Okay, so this function will return, and here you can see this app dot run. It will take the debug as a one parameter. It will take also host as a, you can mention also host. So by default it is local host. Here you can mention host also and port also. So port is by default for the Flask, by default it is the 50. Right here you can see this is the port numbers. So that by default that is the 5000. Up to this is clear. This is the basic structure of the Flask, right?
Yes.
Everyone clear, right? So
Yes.
okay, thank you. So you can create an app also using the Flask. So this is basically designed for that framework, right? So suppose you want to create any HTML page, right? So I want to, for
Render
rendering,
template.
for the HTML, I want to render template. So at first create here, I want to create one folder, that is I rename as that folder also as the templates. Okay. And I have to mention that things here also. So this will take the template as the template. I think I am correct. So let me check here what is the parameter.
Yeah, you can use that for URL as well.
Yeah,
URL for probably.
a URL for, or this yeah, you can use that also. And this is the one simple method also. Here you can see my
Correct.
cursor is visible, template underscore folder equal to templates. Okay. Everyone, yeah.
Templates.
Template folder, template underscore folder. That is templates. Okay. Yeah. It is inside the template. I want to create a page. Suppose
Index.
okay, index.html.
HTML.
Okay, I want to copy the same. Here you can see the code is there. Okay, I want to copy that code and paste it. Okay.
Sir, will there be a project for this code?
No. This is just simple demonstration for you. Okay. The Flask, but the whatever side the connect to PG Postgre, right? PostgreSQL using the Python, that is important. This is a kind of supplementary. You want how, if you see the real world, how project is created or how this database is using as the backend.
Correct. Yeah.
So we can see this index.html page using this function. Yeah. Okay. So here you can call this function return render templates, and you have to mention the HTML page.
HTML file.
Yeah. So that is index.html. So here you can see candidate email database, add email, right? Okay. So everyone, okay, let me show you what this particular project is. So what is this? So this is, you can think this is as the mini project, right? So one page is, this is the home page. You can think this is as the home page, right? And this will display like this candidate email database as a header, and it has the two link. One is the add email. If you want to add any email to the database, and the next is the view all, right? Whatever's the email, whatever's the data present in your database, this will return. So what is the interface look like, the UI look like of this? So this UI is look like, suppose there is the CNAME, right, candidate name, and this is the text field. Okay, and next is the name, again input text field, and the email. Right, and here it is, the one button is there, submit button. Okay, so if you click the submit button, so this got inserted into the database, and it will returns one page like this if it got successfully inserted the value in the database. Okay, so successful message is data added successfully. Okay, successfully, and here one button, go home. It's like the small web page. You can by clicking you can go to the next page, right? And if this particular value is not got inserted into database, then you got another page that is failed to add, the message will be failed to add data, and one button is there, go home. Okay, and if you go to home, this view all will returns the all the value from the database in the arranged manner. So that is in the table CNAME, it's look like CNAME, it similarly look like this. Okay, so you can see here CNAME, name, and the mobile numbers and whatever value you inserted, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me just show you one, not whole project. I just wanted to how you can use that things here, right? So okay, what is available here? Okay, let me check. Okay,
So in that index.html, we can create the form.
yeah, we can form. So I don't want to write, I just wanted to copy. So index dot inside the body, I want to copy that things, and it has, and if I have to create also one this endpoint means URL, whenever we press the submit buttons, this will go to that function, trigger that URL. So what that URL will do, so I have to create the
So this is the decorator, right?
yeah,
App.route.
yeah. So here you can see. App.route, it will go to this particular URL. So URL is this, and here I create a function. Suppose that is the save data. right? And let me check what are the so you have to pass also the method also, in which methods you have to the form value will pass
Yeah, it
to
will be post method.
yeah, this is post method. So I want to copy this thing also. So okay. And I will explain it. Okay, just the indentation will be right.
So you need to import that request also.
Yeah, so request need to be import also, and cname here also, methods also, right? Method is
Post.
okay, and the connections, I have to change also the password is not correct.
Correct.
This is week 7, right? And I want to, this is the, suppose this is the EID, right? Already my table is present, names, and suppose this is not email, that is department. Okay, week 3, my user, and
So
this
those
thing
you
is,
need to change in the HTML as well, right?
yeah. So here you have to write. So here you can see this is not defined. So I have to define this thing also. So import. So I just want to show you how this will work. So this thing, this psychopg modules in the Flask. Here you can use it. Okay. So things. So insert into employee. EID, ename,
These variable names.
variable names I have to change in the index.html. Okay. EID, ename,
Department.
okay, and here you can see I have to maintain also the indentation, and here you can see if this value is successfully got inserted, then it will go to this success.html, and otherwise it will go to the fail.html. So for that I have to made the HTML page also. Fail.html. Okay, and success.html also. So here, okay, I just want to close. Okay, I wanted to code this, copy and paste it. So it will look nice. Okay. So here I have to, if successfully, so I write successfully. Data inserted. Okay. And I remove everything. Everyone got the idea what I am doing.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So one anchor tag and the H references. This is home page, right? And I mentioned this is the go home. Okay. And same thing copy, and I have to paste that things in here. So date.
The body tag is there.
Yeah. Body tag 2 times. Okay. So I have to mention fail to add data. Okay.
The opening tag is also 3 times. Body.
Which one?
Tag. Body opening tag.
Yeah, it got repeated. Okay. I think everything is fine now. Name, C name, and the methods. So, okay, let's run it. Yeah, you can see what is the value 104, and suppose and this is the department. Okay. So let me go to the home page and let me check what is the value got inserted in the employee. So the value is not got inserted. I think there is some problem.
No, I think you need to refresh.
Refresh. Okay, let me check. No, the value is not got inserted. The insert into employee, EID, ename, department values. Yeah. Everything looks fine.
Connection.commit, connection.
Sir, database name is week 3.
Oh, week 7. Okay, let's check. (104). That is DD. Again, let me refresh. Yeah, this value got inserted. So you can try out the whatever's present in the slide. So it looks like the small project and it's interesting also. So you got the idea how it is. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone have any confusion? Any part you can ask and your code is not working. If we can try to solve it. This. Okay. This is important, right? Everyone got this one, how to insert or how to create. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So this Flask project is for us to just see the end to end, right? More than anything, there won't be
The
We won't be doing any
Flask,
project on Flask or
yeah,
anything
Flask
part of this
only.
course.
Yeah, that is a kind of just for explore purpose. You can explore that things.
Yeah, and also to see front end to back end, all the.
Yeah.
So this finally, this Flask project, can we deploy in any application server like Tomcat or something that sort of?
Yeah, you can deploy that things in the GitHub also. So the I think data, yeah, you can deploy that. Yeah, deploy not in GitHub. GitHub is the only page which is not connect with the database. So I think that you
Yeah,
can.
I saw one thing like this Flask project can be deployed through Heroku.
Yeah, Heroku, through Heroku
Heroku.
you can.
Yeah, but the thing is that like if say for example this Flask, if we want to deploy in Tomcat or JBoss, like can we do that or not?
Honestly, I have no idea about the
Okay.
yeah. If anyone want to answer that question here, you can answer. Any other thing you want to ask anyone regarding week 7 content also?
Sir, week 7, like I think the material was like a little bit lighter side compared to 5 and 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like in this Saturday, like is it possible, like for Saturday session, like if you can take up some time on that week 6 for NF and stuff like that, and this MVD a little bit?
Yeah. We can. Piyush sir.
Hello. Yes, Pradeep.
Yeah, Rajiv, you ask.
Yeah. So, Piyush sir, like what I was asking, like this Saturday. Saturday session, like is it possible, like if you can spend some time with like explaining that MVD and these 4NF?
Yes. We can do that. Yeah. So,
Because like your other sessions were very much helpful, and because of that probably like we could like some extent understand like 3rd NF and BCNF.
yeah. So we can discuss for enough also, and we can take one question on like normalization part, like decompose it into 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, and then go to 4NF, right?
Yeah,
We can
and
do
that
it.
MBD stuff also, like where you said like you swap that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Swap that particular things and then find out whether the other two tuples whatever get generated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
So like I understood that part, but when I'm trying to do it, say for example 3 things, okay, like I was confused. Okay, so if you can like spend some time on like a Saturday session on that, like probably like it will be helpful.
Yeah. Okay, sure. We'll do that. Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay, sir, thank you so much.
Yeah. It's in like from week 7 only the main important things are like how to connect to the database using Python and this some application points, right? And
Yes.
whatever we have discussed today, like Flask, like same thing we are going to do in MAD one. Like the complete project is there based on this only. But only
Hmm.
difference is that we are not going to use PostgreSQL in the MAD one because we are going to use Replit and the Replit doesn't support the PostgreSQL. So there is something like SQL Alchemy that we are going to use in the MAD one. So yeah, but the concept is same. Okay, database
Concept is
concept will be same. Yeah. So in this week we are only focusing on the Python database connectivity. You can see programming question is also there, and in OP also like one question will be there from this Python database connectivity.
okay. So
Yeah,
sir,
yeah.
when is that OP planned actually?
25th or 26th of July next month. Yeah.
25th or 26th of July. That means after quiz 2.
After quiz 2, yes. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And
So,
there we will be able to use this this VS Code editor or we need to use that
portal editor only.
portal editor. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
You can go to the practice assignment question, like programming question. Same editor will be
Okay,
there.
okay, okay.
Yes. Anyone? Yeah. So like just one thing, like last time many students had done the same mistake. Like they have done like they have written database in capital name, D capital, right? So it will not work inside the psychophysical model.
Correct, correct. So like that was also there actually. Like it takes by default that like this VS Code editor underscore database, and then it says the database not found.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Because it will not allow that psychophysical model. Yeah. So many
correct,
students
correct.
got confused here, and when they run on their local machine, they simply change D to small d, but they are saying our codes are correct. But when you saw their code, many of them then done the same mistake. So I'm just telling you, so you should not make that mistake. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, sir. Can you just repeat that? We should not put lowercase or uppercase? Sorry, I got confused.
In uppercase, we should not use database D capital. Yeah, inside the
In
connection
the
string.
data. Oh, okay, where we are saying database equal to.
Yeah, database. Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing, sir, like in week 6, like in the first video, probably like when Sat started, he started that there is a specification that has already given, like a LIS specification. But after that, I wrote that in the discourse forum also. I didn't get a response. But is there something that what I'm missing? You have already supplied the LIS specification.
Specification is given in the slides only, no? And yes, we have also shared the PDF file, right, along with the data set. You can
Oh,
check
okay, okay. In the data set, it is there, right? Okay, okay.
PDF.
I'll check. I'll check.
But yeah, please go through it. Like I think we have changed the attribute name, so attribute name may be different. Yeah, little bit.
Okay, but I'll check like if in that database folder, like do we have that spec? If I don't have, I'll again respond to that discourse forum.
Specification, like yeah, like about information about that LIS, right? What is going to, what are the attributes and all these things.
Yeah, basically like week 6, what Sir has covered, like from a specification, how you can write down the functional dependencies, okay, and from there how you can design the schema.
Okay.
So what he mentioned that okay, you have similar kind of spec already given it to you, and now from those statements he was deriving those like functional dependencies.
Okay. So I think that part is not there, but you can check the PDF. I will
Yeah,
also
I'll
check.
check and
Yeah.
let you know. Probably if it is not there, probably if you can help us getting that specification, that will be helpful. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I will. Okay. Any other thing?
No, I think this is fine.
Okay. Okay, we'll discuss MVD part in the next session.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And in week 7, like many theoretical concepts are there, you can just go through the slides or just lectures. That will be enough. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.